Pontiac GTO The Untold History and Evolution of an Icon. The $5,600 Pontiac GTO was a game changer in the car world. It kicked off the muscle car craze in the 1960s, capturing the hearts of young car lovers. This car costs around $84,999 today, and it's famous among youth today as well. You'll be amazed to know that this car was sold for $1.1 million during an auction. But what makes it stand out? Well, let's find out in today's video, so stay with us till the end to enjoy the terrific journey of the Pontiac GTO, and let's begin. In the late 1950s, Pontiac was known for its performance cars. Then, John DeLorean and his team decided to take it up a notch. For the 1964 model year, they introduced a powerful new option for the Pontiac Tempest called the GTO. The GTO came with a 389 cubic inch V8 engine, a special handling package, dual exhaust, and some stylish GTO badges. When it hit the market, people went wild. Its performance and handling were top-notch, and buyers couldn't get enough. Pontiac sold over 32,000 GTOs in 1964 alone. The 1964 GTO had a standard 389 engine that produced 325 horsepower, but the optional Tri-Power 389 engine with 3 carburetors delivered an impressive 348 horsepower. In 1965, the GTO got even better, with a sleek new design and more power. The standard engine now produced 335 horsepower, while the Tri-Power version cranked out 360. With the GTO's huge success, other car makers quickly jumped into the muscle car market. Pontiac doubled their GTO production, selling over 75,000 cars in 1965. The 1966 GTO was bigger, with a meaner front grille and new double-decker headlights. It still had the powerful 389 V8 engine from 1965, but now there was a new factory ram air option for even more power. The 1966 and 67 GTOs had a sleek Coke bottle design. Even though many imitators appeared, the GTO remained popular, with nearly 97,000 sold in 1966. By 1967, the engine was upgraded to a 400 cubic inch V8, with 4 versions to choose from, ranging from 265 to 360 horsepower. Sales in 1967 were strong, with over 80,000 units sold. Pontiac realized they needed to innovate to stay ahead of the competition, so they introduced a new modern GTO in 1968. This model had a sleek body that was even more powerful with a 400 cubic inch V8 engine. The 1968 GTO also featured a rounded design with optional hideaway headlights and a new Endura front bumper that matched the car's body color. This bumper was a big hit because it could absorb light impacts and return to its original shape. The GTO continued to lead the muscle car pack, with sales increasing to nearly 88,000 units in 1968. Despite fierce competition, the GTO's combination of power and style kept it at the top. In 1968, the Pontiac GTO offered 5 different 400 cubic inch V8 engines. Choices range from an economy 265 horsepower engine to several 360 horsepower options, including the high-performance Ram Air 2, which debuted mid-year with enhanced exhaust manifolds and round exhaust ports. The 1969 GTO was similar to the 68 model, with minor updates, like a new front parking light design and a new rear taillight and bumper design. Despite these tweaks, sales began to show signs of decline. However, one significant addition for 1969 was the Judge package. Originally meant to be a budget-friendly GTO to rival the Plymouth Roadrunner, it evolved into a high-end option with features like a rear spoiler, unique stripes, and decals. The Judge came standard with a 366 horsepower Ram Air 3 engine, with an optional 370 horsepower Ram Air 4 engine that produced over 400 horsepower. The standard 1969 GTO engine was a 350 horsepower V8 with an economy 265 horsepower option also available. Despite the updates and new packages, production fell to about 72,000 units in 69, including 6,725 Judge Coupes and only 108 Judge convertibles. In 1970, the GTO faced rising prices, higher insurance costs, and competition from the Pontiac Firebird. These challenges hinted at tougher times ahead for the muscle car market. However, the GTO still made a splash with a stylish new front end featuring quad headlights and a revised bumper design. The 1970 GTO's optional Judge package and engines were mostly carryovers from the 1969. Despite facing declining sales, the GTO remained a symbol of the muscle car era, though it was clear that changes were on the horizon for Pontiac's flagship performance car. In 1970, Pontiac introduced a new 360 horsepower, 455 cubic inch V8 engine, boasting an impressive 500 pound-feet of torque. The most popular GTO setup that year was the standard 400 V8, with a 3-speed automatic transmission competition. The 1970 GTO was heavier and more luxurious than previous models, offering many options. The Judge package, which came standard with the Ram Air 3400, had optional Ram Air 400 and 455 engines. Production was down to about 40,000 units, with 3,629 Judge hardtops and 168 Judge convertibles, nearly half of the previous year's numbers. The 1971 GTO had a new, upscale front-end design with revised headlights and Endura treatment. Despite its excellent performance and handling, sales plummeted. The 1971 year marked the end for the Judge and convertible options. High compression engines were replaced with lower horsepower but still powerful options, like the 300 and 325 horsepower 455 V8s and the new 335 horsepower 455 HO V8 exclusive to the Judge. The 1972 GTO was mostly unchanged from 71, with minor updates like a revised grille, new side air extractors, and dual chrome splitter exhaust outlets. Engine options remained the same, but horsepower ratings switched to the stricter net horsepower measurement. The 1972 GTO was demoted to an option package for the Pontiac Le Mans, with only 5,807 units sold, signaling the end of the muscle car era. The golden age of the GTO was over, and it soon faded into history. By 1972, the Pontiac GTO, once a powerhouse of the 60s, was facing a massive decline in sales. The rise of the Pontiac Trans Am and Firebird formula had overshadowed the GTO. By 1973, it was clear that the GTO was no longer Pontiac's top performance car. In 73, Pontiac attempted a GTO comeback with a new Le Mans exterior styling based on GM's popular Colonne design. Despite these efforts, only 4,806 GTOs were produced that year, signaling the car's approaching extinction. The best engine, a Super Duty 455 cubic inch V8, was exclusive to the Trans Am and Firebird formula, further highlighting the GTO's decline. The 73 GTO came with a standard 230 horsepower 400 cubic inch V8 and an optional 250 horsepower 455 cubic inch V8. It lost its distinctive Endura front end, now featuring a conservative chrome bumper. This front end was given to the new Grand Am, making it hard to distinguish the GTO from a standard Le Mans. However, the GTO did retain dual black grills and a sporty hood with dual non-functional NACA scoops, adding some appeal. The interior was modern and stylish, an improvement over previous years. 1974 marked the GTO's 10th anniversary, but it was a disappointment for fans. The GTO was moved to the Ventura lineup based on GM's X-Body platform, making it lighter, but also more conservative in styling. The only sporty feature was a functional shaker hood scoop from the Trans Am. An optional rear hatchback and fold-out camper provided more cargo space, but the overall design failed to excite GTO enthusiasts. The engine options were drastically reduced, with only a 200 horsepower 350 cubic inch V8 available. While this engine was decent compared to other 1974 performance cars, it was a far cry from the high-performance engines of the GTO's glory days. This move to the Ventura platform and the power reduction marked the end of the GTO's dominance in the muscle car era. Imagine if Pontiac had offered the legendary Super Duty 455 V8 as an option for the 1974 GTO, as they did for the 74 Trans Am and Firebird formula. The 74 GTO is almost 500 pounds lighter than the Trans Am and formula. With a Super Duty 455, the lightweight 74 GTO could have been one of the fastest muscle cars of its time. Unfortunately, Pontiac missed its opportunity. At the end of the 1974 model year, Pontiac decided to discontinue the GTO. But this wasn't a surprise. Ironically, the 1974 GTO reversed the downward sales trend of the previous 5 years, with a total of 7,058 units sold. It seemed like the end of the GTO saga, but 3 decades later, Pontiac brought it back for the 2004 model year. As the last Pontiac to carry the GTO name, the 2004 to 2006 models have become a significant part of automotive history. They remain competitive with modern performance cars, embodying the GTO's legacy of power and performance. Hey, this was all about the legendary Pontiac GTO. What are your thoughts on the car? Please share with us in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed watching today's video, don't forget to like, share, and please subscribe to our channel.